I'm Miles Davis, acclaimed horror author, and today I'll be reading an excerpt from The Bed of Hardisty. Now, The Bed of Hardisty is actually one of my favorite books that I've ever written. It's it's one of those stories that will stick with you through the night, and it's perfectly it goes perfectly with the fall, like October. It's a perfect companion to the month of October, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to read to you a little bit here of the back cover. You can pick up your copy on Kindle or paperback on Amazon. A dark shadow has grown over the town of Hardisty, Alberta. A vampire has infested all those who live within its limits. Just what lurks in the abyss of the unknown is for only the faint to decide. Dive into the dark world of the paranormal if you dare. Now, this book is something of a it, it's hard to explain, but it's one of those stories that I wrote that I honestly fell in love with. And it's one of the stories that I would love to see someday be turned into like a stage play or perhaps a motion picture of some sort or a short film or something, because it has all the elements of a perfect 80s horror film, if that makes any sense. You got the guy who doesn't really believe in it but knows something's going on. You have his sidekick. She knows what's going on because she's been researching it her whole life and knows about all the dark, twisted legends and sightings and reports from the underground about monsters and creatures living in the night and feasting on human remains. And top it all off, it all takes place in Hardisty, Alberta, which in itself is a wonderful place to go to. If you haven't been to Hardisty, Alberta, I suggest going out there and checking it out. It's a very wonderful little piece of heaven on this tainted earth. So I'm going to read a little bit of an excerpt coming in from Chapter 1. Let's start at Chapter 1. I'm going to read actually the first page. And, as I'm kind of getting my bearings on this whole YouTube thing, I usually write 1,000 words a day. I usually post on my website, and now I'm making videos on YouTube, so bear with me as I'm still trying to get my whole footing into this whole world of video making. I'm currently working on my 9th novel, which is actually a pretty good one. I think you guys are gonna like it. I'll be reviewing. Sorry about that, you guys. I'll be revealing the title here shortly. Not on this video, but in one of my future videos, I'll read an excerpt from it. If you ever want to just read some of my excerpts that I've been putting out there for the world to see, go to my website. I'll leave the link in the description below. And yeah, so I'm pretty new to this. I think I'm going to do one video a week to try to get my bearings straight, try to figure out all this stuff, and go from there, because I don't want to spread myself out too thin with my job and then my writing and the website, and try to pimp myself out there for everybody to garner and read and stuff like that. It honestly is, at this point, just pimping myself out there for the sole purpose of selling a book. That's the tale of a writer for you, right? You suffer, you go hungry, you work at a job you can't stand, and then at the end of the day, you try to sell your books like you're trying to beg people, please buy this book. Please go on Amazon Kindle and pay 99 cents for a book that took me over a month to write, countless hours to write, like almost 9 books. Cried, man. I could have been doing something else with my time, but that's okay. I'm going to be doing these videos and trying to make, try to have some fun with it and get to know you fine folks, and you fine folks get to know me. As I said before, I'm Miles Davis. It's a pleasure. Don't forget to, enjoy this video and like and comment and all that stuff. So, anyways, where was I? All right. It was a warm summer day in August, on the cusp before the fall approached. It was thick like pea soup, and the land was something of a beautiful sight. Something taken from an old painting hanging in a discount motel off a forgotten highway. Now, I'm not the kind of person who would complain about the heat, but just like the changes in the season, there is always something new that can come and change one's perspective. I was born and raised in the small town of Hardisty, the kind of place where people work hard for what they have believe in and enjoy a beer at the old watering hole. The history of this small slice of heaven was one of oil. Over the years, everything moved forward, while the landscape stood perfectly still. Not much has changed here except for the old cold, odd coat of paint and patchwork on the residential streets. But all that was going to change on that warm summer night when a foul odor was in the wind and it started to make the water taste sour. Everything about that was on the cusp of our doors, was about to change our lives forever. I was living in a small two-bedroom house, reminder, of what littered the nation just after the Second World War. You know, the type of cookie-cutter place. It wasn't much to look at, but it was mine. And so I honestly loved the place. Though the pipes would rattle and every so often the lines would freeze. It was something I could call my own. The old Hiller home had been vacant for the span of a year. It was a shame when they discovered bodies on that cold winter day. Mr. and Mrs. Hiller were the kind of people that would be considered pillars of the community, the type of people that would help anyone in a tight spot. The day their twisted and disfigured corpses were discovered was when all of us mourned. The official report was a gas leak, but I never bought the official report. There was something off about the explanation since their son, a trained technician, did all the work for them. He owned a small company that did that sort of thing, and since news got out about his parents, he was out of business the next day, and after he was cleared of the charges, he pulled up and moved out. Not much is known of his location now, but I figured he'll never be seen again. But it was a big surprise when the place was sold for far below asking value. But in these trying times, you take what you can get. Being a small town, everyone noticed this and waited with anticipation. For who would finally call this place home? Many didn't want to buy the place where people died in such a horrible fashion. But as the moving vans rolled in and began unloading several dozen odd-shaped boxes, and I'm going to leave you with that because, in all honesty, it's a really great read. I think you guys are going to like it. I'll put the link in the description. And I did kind of flub over some words while speaking. Speaking isn't really public speaking, I should say. I'm still getting used to it. I honestly despise it every so often. It's like, ugh. I'm the kind of writer that likes to stay in the background and keep to himself type of writers. I don't like going out there in public and showing my face, and I don't really like doing that. I like to live kind of a life of secrecy, even though I've got nothing to hide. I just like to live life that way. Living the life of someone who could go about and just enjoy their life in secret. Kind of like Batman in a way. I'm not Batman by any means, but being able to write and tell good stories and interact with people on Twitter and Reddit and here and there and everywhere. It's a lot of fun. It's honestly one of the few things in life that I actually really do enjoy. It's something that really honestly helps me get over some of my anxieties in the world. I started writing last summer, and it honestly really opened up the way I look at the world. Like, I've always had a weird outlook on the world. I've always seen the world as what it is, a pretty crummy place for the majority of the people here. And coming from extreme poverty, I've come to see that myself firsthand, and trying to move out of that is always a battle that 99% of the people will never win. The cards aren't just aren't in their favor, and and it's times like that where you kind of just have to wonder, uh, how you're gonna get out of it. Some people turn to substances, some people turn to religion, or they dedicate their lives to a noble cause. Some people try to take that negativity and that horrible environment to try to throw it into something creative, to not only entertain but to enlighten and to bring a shred of joy to people's lives. And that's what I always find myself wanting to do. And so back in last June, I was kind of a wreck. I didn't have much going on. I was going through some stuff, and so I was like, you know what? The heck with this. I'm gonna write a book, right? Like I've never done that before. I've never written a book before, and it's the book's called For Allison. It's on Amazon. It was one of the first books I ever read, and I've been hooked ever since. It's a great way to relieve one of frustrations on one's own life and one's own what they feel as shortcomings or failings in life, and they can actually try to become better people through it. Just by bringing some joy to their lives. I guess that's why I've always stuck around the horror aspect of creating, because with horror you can do anything. You could have it set in the prairies, or you could have it set in some sleepy Mexican town in the 1700s or the 1850s, or have it set within like some kind of like government facility underground underneath some farmers' fields where they do tests and simulations on all these people. If that's your thing, hey, there you go. But it's much different than science fiction. Science fiction's always it's always technical, and it's very boring. Like I have not been into science fiction since I was a kid, and it's just one of those things that I just get bored with nowadays, because I like to overanalyze everything. So I'm told. I like to overanalyze everything, uh, everything from science fiction to fantasy. It's stuff like that, and especially horror. Like I'm my own worst critic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like this, the books I write are like the ones that you like find in the drugstore back in like the 30s, like the pulp bin, like that giant area of books that 99% of them will be used as like as mulch, um, back in the day. I don't try to say, like, hey, I'm really, I know what I'm talking about, or I know what I'm doing, because quite frankly, I honestly don't. I've only been doing this not even for a year, and I'm already on my ninth book. Uh, you know, they're not like super long books. They're like around 25 to 30,000 words, but I sell them as cheaply as I can on Amazon, because I don't like the whole aspect of charging people like $10, $20, $30. Now, hey, now buy this book. It's like $30, right? But I don't know. I feel like if you're writing something that you love, you should give it away for a price that isn't absurdly high, especially in this day and age, and especially in this economy where people are so hard up. People are struggling so hard in life. Um, I've like I stated earlier, like I've tried pimping out my work, and that's what it is. You're basically a pimp trying to get people to spend a minute of their time with what you have, and it's very very disheartening. I think I put one of my books up for free on Kindle, and it was just so painful, because I'm on Twitter. I'm like, hey, my book's free, everybody. Look, I use these hashtags, and the book is free. And then I get people going over there, and like they'll download it for free, and nothing will come of it. Like nobody will say a word. Nobody will say like, "Hey, I got your book. It's adequate. Thanks, Miles Davis. Thumbs up." But in reality, it's not like that. It's so hard to get people, you know, even acknowledge it exists, or to even acknowledge that you exist as an artist, or you exist as a viewer, or any of that fun stuff, right? So it's kind of disheartening on that, but I do think it's funny because it's my 37th birthday today, and I booked today off from work, and I'm just like, you know what? I ain't doing this today. I ain't going to work today. Like, you know what? I've been put through the ringer so many times. I don't deserve to go to work today. Like, I ain't doing that. I'm not going to do that. You know. So I decided to stay home, and I watched a few horror movies. The original Dawn of the Dead, the extended cut, which is pretty good. I forgot about that movie and how much filler there's in that film. It's an all right movie. And then I watched the remake of Night of the Living Dead, which is a classic. It's a really good movie. The guy shouts up from the basement. Yo-yos, lame brains. That stuff's pretty funny. I always laugh at that. But yeah, it's just my life as it is. Here I am, writing books with a website, now making videos, and I put up my first video today, and I got a subscriber, so that's pretty cool. But before I get off track here, it's a very hard road to climb. I don't think I'm ever going to get famous off it. I don't even think I'll ever make enough money off any of my books to buy like a sandwich. I'll never be able to afford a sandwich with what I make off these books. I think I only made so far like $15, maybe 20. I don't know. I haven't checked, but anyways, that's my journey. And yeah, so this is my video. I'm gonna be making a video a week. I don't want to over slosh anybody with videos and website uploads, posts, and tweets and Reddit posts and all that fun stuff. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you like it, great. It's an honor. If not, hey, that's great too. I don't make any money off this stuff, and you know I'm probably gonna just relax after this. So the address to the website, I should say, is in the description below. Same with my Amazon place thing and my Twitter and all that fun stuff. So, anyways, it's been nice chatting with you guys. It's been a nice almost 18 minutes. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you next time. Take care and, yeah, farewell. Bye.